what are your like aspirations and stuff been with jiu-jitsu in general, and where you find yourself at with it now?
Um, I need to be way more consistent with it. I'd say over the last year, it's like, man, I've been maybe training once, twice a week at most. So I definitely just need to get way more consistent, and I do want
Yeah. We can help you get consistent.
to.
I got nothing else to do. This is all I do. Anyways, I was listening to the interview with Andy, and I thought it was funny because he's like talking about how obsessed he got with it. And he's like, I was just wearing out my training partners. I became so obsessed.
That was
like,
a moment that I was going to look at the camera. He goes, you hear that, Kyle? That was one of them.
I'm texting everybody all the time. You guys want to train?
Because he goes, the extent of our training is just a one text thread. It was always in a text thread. Like, you want to come on, when you get it? I'm like,
why did you have kids, man? Like, why did you take that job? You knew it would get in the way of doing this.
You caved. You're weak.
I don't think those thoughts often.
Not consistency is a big deal. Just time on the mat for sure. From the little I do know,
Just been struggling to find that balance between here and trying to stay in the gym and being a dad and all that. It's a lot of
Well, I've thought of like, because you always hear people talk about like studying the stuff, Dude, it wasn't until like this last year that I started to see people on TV. We all know like what's that Italian kid's name? Who's a phenom?
Oh, the
nerd.
Musumeci. Yeah.
Okay. Like how he studies, right? And then discovering people like have like journals and they're studying, they're breaking stuff down. It's like, okay, dang. Now there's a way you can stay consistent, not necessarily in your time approach, like whatever, but consistent on your actual development. So like if you can only get, let's say 3 days in or 2 days in, and you learn, let's say an arm bar in those 2 days. This is a generic example, but in your journal, that's what you got, if you can develop that, study on that, what can, be exposed to that. So then by the next time you come in, you're just going to pick up right there and add the next little piece. And then you got to go do life. You got to do whatever. The next time you come in, you're picking up from where you left off, So then in your training progression, you technically are consistent. You're not going, I'm going to try this. Oh, then I'm going to try this. And then I'm going to try that. You're actually like systematically building your approach. So even though it may grow like slower, it's not going to be an inconsistent growth. It'll still be a chain.
I think that's been my major problem since I have been so inconsistent about it. It's like I'll show up on a class and we'll be doing whatever, and you might be doing that for a week or two, and then next thing you know, I don't come. So then when I come back, it's a whole new technique. And it's like I don't even remember what I was doing the last time.
So like Donovan exemplified that pretty well when he did the study series just on triangles for a time, right? I don't know, he could have done anything anywhere else, but he, in his mind, in his focus, he set to study the triangle privately.
Yeah.
He didn't bring no one else into it. He developed it, or he demonstrated it on everybody, but he, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he just stayed consistent in that study of it. So whenever he then could execute the knowledge that he was peering into, he could, and he did it well, because there's a lot of knowledge out there, at everyone's fingertips. We talked about it a few episodes back, just, the Instagram shop, right, of it all. It doesn't mean they're not good, but it's going like, but where are you at on stuff? You know what I'm saying? Is this going to be consistent with your growth, your development? I've been pondering a lot of that, lately, and I think it seems safe and right. I don't know that it.
When I was getting ready for a competition, Jared told me to find a submission and start trying to find it from everywhere. And it made intention to it to where I started looking for the armbar from the back, from guard, from mount. Every position I could find the armbar, I started to see what made the armbar work, what didn't make it work, what I needed to do to make it work. And it gave that intention that upgraded my armbar. From anywhere, not just like with the triangles with Donovan. You have to add that intention to your role to where when you're training and you're at work and you're not training, you're thinking about what is making it work. Where was I unsuccessful? Where was I successful with it?
Yeah.
Well, I think scheduling time too is important to be intentional with your time when we are busy. But I know something that helps me is like setting a schedule before the week begins.
Yeah, I know it's very helpful for me to like try playing out my week. Mm-hmm. You like, hey, we got this going on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. For sure.
Then you don't feel guilty because it's like if you push it off, it's like there's class tonight. Maybe I should go. And you're like, oh, I don't know if I should go. I got other things to do. Oh, I'll go tomorrow night. And then the next night comes, you're like, man, I got some stuff to do. And then it's like you kind of feel guilty, you know, for pushing it off and not being there, but you never get there. And then you're not getting your other things done too. But if it's like Monday night, I'm doing class. Tuesday night, I'm doing chores at home or paying, you know, whatever it is. Right. Yeah. You schedule that in.
That's helped me.
I was
Yeah.
able to
Mine
do
too.
that this week. I was like, okay, Monday I'm gonna lift, Tuesday I'm gonna lift, Wednesday I'm going to class, Thursday we had a school event last night. Like got with Michael, did something today.
Let's talk about that. Like lifting and jiu-jitsu, I've really struggled to find balance in that.
It's hard.
Yeah. I think
I refuse to do it both on the same day anymore. Like I used to when I first started, but like the way my joints are already at 32, it's not worth it to me at this point.
See, I've heard some guys even say like doing it both on the same day so you have a complete rest day. But I don't, dude, the last time I had a rest day was probably the Saturday in Indianapolis before the competition. Like I don't have, yeah. And I realize I do, but it's like, I can't, I just can't, because between my job and this and lifting and running, it's just like, if I take a day off, I just don't know how to fit it all in.
I was going to ask you earlier when you were talking about the shoulder stuff, and I feel like I might know a little bit, but I mean, especially you have a say in this too, Kyle, for sure, but you say it definitely matters probably how you lift.
Oh yeah.
Like to complement jiu-jitsu, because I was going to ask when you had the shoulder stuff, like, do you think that the way you were lifting before had any contribution to the strain, that it wasn't
100%?
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't building it up for jiu-jitsu.
I think I was going too hard on both and not taking rest time. You know, like it hurt pretty bad for almost a year before it gave out again. Like I was just waiting on it at that point, you know.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, 100%. That's why like ever since that, it's like my left side's screwed together now. So it's like I try to find that balance, and if it is having a really off day, which still happens occasionally, I just try to take it easy.
You know, yeah. So something that I've been playing with lately, I've tried different lifting methods in order to stay on the mat and not hurt. I've done bodybuilding because it doesn't hurt my joints. You know, it's just a lot of reps and time under tension. But I don't recover from that either because I just do so much volume and then I'm just kind of tired. But I'm not hurting as bad. And then I go back to strength training. But it's like the intensity in here is so much. It's hard to strength train on top of the intensity in here because it's.
Is it though? Because I mean, if you think about it, like a lot of the movements you're doing in here is almost like a strength training thing because you're exploding.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So then when I match that with actually doing it in the gym, I'm just 2 ran down. Because it's like, say I'm in here and I do a bunch of rounds with you guys. If I'm going to do like a max effort deadlift or squat the next day, it's like I'm spent.
I refuse to max anymore though. Like I might do a heavier set of like 3 reps.
Yeah.
But like generally I don't care to max anymore. I don't find that it's any benefit to me at all.
I think there's a lot of benefit to maxing because I think it builds bone density, it builds ligaments, builds tendons. Absolute strength makes everything in life easier. I've noticed that even with my endurance with lifting. If I can bench 365 pounds, I can bench 225 all day without doing the endurance part of it. You know what I mean? Absolute strength makes everything.
I still try to get stronger. I just don't look for that 1 rep max anymore. Is what I'm getting at. Like I know you kind of talked about bodybuilding versus strength training, and like I pretty well change my reps like every week. So it might be 5 to 6 this week, and then it'll be 10 to 12 the week after that.
Jim Stepani does a lot of that type of thing.
That's where I get a lot of my stuff from, is from him. And I feel like you get a balance of all of it, and then you're not really hurting yourself from going too heavy all the time for 4 or 5 weeks straight, and then you're not really hurting yourself from just the volume all the time either. So I feel like it's a pretty good balance.
What I've done lately, and I think this is what's going to keep me a little bit sane and understand it's not forever, so I can always go back. Because a lot of times I make that switch in my head. I'm like, okay, this is the way I'm going to train. And then I like get overwhelmed. And I'm like, but I like to train the other way too, you know? And so now I'm kind of breaking it down in cycles. And when we're heavy competing jiu-jitsu, I'm lifting 2 days a week. I'm doing Squat, bench on Monday with 2 or 3 accessories. And then on Thursday or Friday, I'm going to overhead press and deadlift with just a few accessories. And I'm going to do percentage-based stuff for those big compound lifts and just keep that going. And then when we're out of competition season, pretty much, I'm going to go back to either some more strength training or the bodybuilding type thing and lift a little bit more. But that's kind of how I'm telling myself I'm going to do it right now. Yeah. Kind of help me rest up. Because I noticed too, like the overtraining, like was making me depressed and anxious. Like I just wake up and my heart rate's high and I'm on edge and I'm irritable and just not even knowing why. And then it's like we go to Indianapolis for the tournament. So I kind of wind down that week and it's like, oh, I'm in a better mood. You know, it's like, I guess I was training too much.
I've seen a lot of guys say like every 12 weeks or so, take a week off, a whole week.
Yeah, I could never do that.
So I don't know about all that. That's a lot of time away from
I see the utility in it, but I just
lifting, not
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu and all that.
But yeah.
Coming from the bottom up, like meaning completely out of shape, coming into some shape, right? Like you guys probably sounds like anyways, you're speaking to more of a like maintenance and keeping it, you know, whatever, like whatever. So I know for me, having like being just straight up out of shape, getting some of that from grappling, because that output is there where you're like, I'm spent, you know, but then also realizing I don't feel like I have any strength. Like even when I grapple, like I feel weak when I grapple. So it's like wanting to lift, do something on the backside so that it can, you know, whatever, the ways that I've been doing it. Like I got with that guy, that Evan Kapler, who's a physical therapist, whatever, specifically marketing himself towards BJJ injury recoveries and prevention stuff. So he builds up specific groupings, shoulders, elbows, you know, leg stuff, which it's not a crazy amount of work, but it is calculated focus points that has actually served me really stinking well. That's all I do. I mean, not like I do all the time. I'm saying I roll, grapple, hit the bag, and then do those workouts. And like, if I was to show you a before and after picture of that, and I'm taking protein creatine, you know, like it's a major difference. It's like I got
steroids.
I'm not taking steroids. You know, it's like it's all it is. Like, you know, like for me, like, and it changed dramatically having some sort of workshop, you know, going right, and it's given me strength that I can now use, you know, like where I need it, when I need it, kind of thing, and it has helped me be able to stay in longer to figure out crap. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like I don't feel like I'm lifting and like bodybuilding, or I don't feel like I'm lifting, you know, whatever, but I feel like I'm getting strength back into my body in a way that is useful for what I'm trying to do, which is just be able to grapple, you know, and be in combatives to some degree. You know what I'm saying? So starting from zero, I would say zero, because I was just like a pear, you know, and then to where I'm at now, like there's been dramatic progress, and that has been all that I've implemented so far, you know. So anybody listening, starting from ground up, there's a good way in there. Now, if it needs to switch and goes to stuff like that eventually, you know, then we got that knowledge. For sure.
I'm a big believer in just absolute strength.
Yeah.
Just get strong and that'll take care of things.
Yeah.
But I know Louis Simmons out at Westside Barbell. I mean, he trained a lot of NFL athletes. And, I mean, the guys that trained with him didn't get hurt like everybody else, you know, and he critiqued the NFL with how many injuries they had. He's like, they don't know what they're doing. They're not training these guys right. That's why they're getting hurt. They're not building them in the right places and things like that. So it is important, I think, to stay on the mats, taking care of yourself, for sure.
No, for sure.
Staying strong, whatever it is. The way I'm doing it's not right. It's not right. Yeah. We'll see where it goes.
I remember years ago, like during my amateur time, I had a buddy you may have known him. He was a wide receiver for Greenville College or whatever. Cunningham Daniel, played for Frankfurt, but then went there. But he was good shape, 190, man. So, you know, football shape, just, you know, good, fast, agile. We were working out in the room, weight room, and I was doing medicine ball push-ups, like pushing, you know, rolling it over, doing the other arm, isolated, things like that. And he was trying to do that, and he couldn't. He's like, that is so much pressure on my shoulders. Like, what the heck? How are you able to do that? You know? And I didn't have, it was, you know, the grappling strength, right? Like that kind of stuff. So there was strength in there for those specific movements that the way he was being built, like would have really screwed his shoulder up had he kept, and that was like, what are they doing to you? That's why I asked, I go, what kind of workouts are you doing, man? Like you're massive, but you don't have that kind of strength, and so that's crazy that there are people that actually
football coaches aren't lifting coaches.
Nah,
they're not.
Sure
and a lot of them think that they are. Yeah, but they're not. They don't get it.
No, his mechanics was good and strong, but
yeah, Roger's listening to this episode, throwing things right now. He's certified with Westside Barbell, so he's got some good stuff that he knows. But he's always on me about my training. He's probably losing it right now, finding out I'm lifting 2 days a week and not following the template that he's got for me. So.
You'll hear about it later.
Yeah, we gotta get Michael in there too. We're gonna get him on anabolics and lifting, and next Gordon Ryan.
Let's do it. I'm down. I need to get back into it. The first couple of years I did mostly calisthenics, and I didn't do any sort of strength training other than just calisthenics.
Right.
And whenever you're in here, my philosophy on jiu-jitsu is I want the other guy working hard and me working the least. And I want to get the most effective outcome from me working the least. In the gym, that's not it. In the gym, you're working hard to gain. And here you want to work less to gain. So it's like when I stopped doing any sort of extra stuff on the sideline, you notice it. You don't have the same strength. You don't have the same output. You're not as physically built for it. Whether that not just in strength, but just in resources. They're not there. Like he said, the absolute strength is just not there. Not that I was doing any sort of benching or anything like that. It was all calisthenics based, but I felt way better and I felt like I could train longer.
Sometimes I think we all have a mental illness. It's like this isn't reasonable what we're doing. Like, it's not reasonable